With Attack on Titan's last episode set to air soon, many fans are excited and others are anything but. People's perspective on the series, for better or worse, has changed a lot since it started. It's gotten me thinking, what went right, what went wrong, did the ending suck or not, and why has the series become so controversial now? I'll say up front that I could say a lot about all of this, but I'm not here to give a full-on review. I'm making this video for a totally different reason. Plus everyone's already made about 1 million videos on the ending and I'm not really in the mood for doing that. With the way people have reacted to what's happened over the course of the series, I've noticed a lot of people have missed some pretty key details in Attack on Titan. Hence the title, People Don't Understand Attack on Titan. I'm going to give one quick warning. There's going to be spoilers here for the entire manga. If you want to wait for the anime to come out, don't watch any further. Come back and watch this some other time. With that out of the way, let's get started. First, I want to say that there are some aspects of Attack on Titan that could be considered interpretive, and I do believe that is true, to a certain extent. Because I think that this has led a lot of people into viewing the series as something that it's not. Some elements of the story are simply clearer cut than that. To be a little more direct here, just because you have this vision of something doesn't mean the creator intended it to be that way. There are so many parts of the series that I've seen be completely taken to another context that has clearly led to more fan outrage. And I repeat, I'm not talking about making a criticism to the series. I'm just saying that context and intent is important. We can start with a simple question. What was Attack on Titan trying to say in the first place? It's a legitimate question. The manga and anime have gone through such dramatic changes that a single answer isn't enough. So let's talk about freedom. Since the beginning, freedom has been very important to the series, and that only became more obvious. As defined by Wikipedia, freedom generally is having the ability to act or change without constraint. Generally speaking, people already have mixed opinions on what freedom really is. It's a philosophical debate on its own that's not easy to break down. But I'm going to focus on how it's treated in AOT to narrow it down a little bit. A lot of fans will say that the main point is about a boy trying to gain freedom by destroying the people, or Titans, that have caused him so much pain. I think this is oversimplifying it and does lead to a lot of misunderstanding. So let's start with a commonly analyzed element of the story. Many have already compared how Eren and Armin share different views of freedom. Eren has been associated with negative freedom, which means freedom from interference from others and anything else. On the other hand, Armin is associated with positive freedom, which is based on the ability to act on one's free will and freedom from external restraint on one's actions. Eren's views lead him to obsession, and eventually he chooses violence and revenge over anything else, which brings me to one of the biggest points. Eren's story is tragic, and always was meant to be. The part that I see many people not get is that they think that he was written to be the most genius mastermind Chad in anime, but this completely misses the point. Yes, he did go through some growth and he did change, but in a way he didn't really change at all. Eren could be the subject of a whole video on its own, and there's some pretty good ones that I could definitely recommend if you want to check them out. But here, I'm going to be as concise and to the point as possible. Eren was always shown to be rash, hard-headed, but extremely bold, and takes the never give up attitude that so many shonen protagonists have to a dark and disturbing level. Truth is, although his demeanor changed a lot outwardly, on the inside these aspects did not change. We might not hear him constantly shouting in anger and making as rash decisions as before, but these internal principles he's had since the beginning haven't changed. They've only become more corrupt. In chapter 121, when Zeek sees Eren's memories of the aftermath of him killing Mikasa's kidnappers, he gives one of his most well-known quotes. "If someone is willing to take my freedom, I won't hesitate to take theirs." This is Eren's ideology in a nutshell. Since the very beginning, this part of Eren never has changed, from chapter 1 to chapter 139. It also shows more clearly that although he's changed a lot on the outside, you realize that he hasn't actually changed as much as we thought. The idea that he suddenly became a mastermind in everything and didn't ever get emotional or act dumb is a pretty bold claim to make. Going to the very end of the manga, Eren's reveal about his feelings for Mikasa and why he started the rumbling can seem a bit shocking, especially how Eren has behaved for the majority of the final arcs, but it's not really out of character when you really think about it. I do have criticisms with how some of this is presented, don't get me wrong, but the point I'm trying to make here is that this view that many fans have of Eren Yeager is extremely idolized and just not correct. There are many things you can criticize, but bashing a character for not living up to something he never was, frankly, seems a bit outlandish. Unsurprisingly, I've seen a lot of debate online about who was really on the correct side. The Yeagerist group is very vocal on Reddit and other parts online, and also the people who even side with the Marleyans. So that brings us to an important question. Who is really correct? The answer is not really any of them, or at least not any group or nation. While it was easy to see his Marleyans as the bad guys at the beginning, the last two arcs really do humanize them a lot. Gabby and Reiner are obvious examples, even though they've both done terrible things throughout the series, specifically Reiner. We can see that his reasoning for doing so and how it's actually traumatized him. Gabby is a great example of racial self-hatred and how she despises her own race and wants to prove that she's one of the quote-unquote good ones, but then later begins to change after some of the actions she's committed and after meeting other people on Paradise. Given how Eren and some of the other characters ended up, we know that not all people on Paradise were exactly good either. A big theme of this series is about how hatred and bad circumstances can corrupt people to do the things they do. Ultimately, it's not really about where you come from, your traumatic childhood, or anything else. Hatred in the end only makes you more ignorant, but we do see characters that do try and resolve this. The campfire scene in chapter 127 is a culmination of this. It's a scene filled with characters with grudges against one another trying to form a team and put aside differences in order to stop a genocidal rampage. With or without chapter 139, this was something that had been built up for a while. No side would be completely pure, an alliance to stop a greater threat would be inevitable. While there is never-ending debate about multiple aspects of AOT, my only wish here is for people to try and view things more as they were intended to be. Personally, I love Attack on Titan, and even though I do have criticisms towards the ending, the story, themes, and characters string together is something that is impactful in the way that few manga and few series are. I know some people won't agree with that sentiment, and that's not something I have a problem with. My only hope is that we can talk about things differently. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want to see more stuff like this, then hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.